Hello. We're on Clementine again. The last time we made the wipers work. Oh, well, I got that one pretty close. And we made the headlights work. Do we have lights? I'm gonna assume we don't have lights. I have one light. I have two lights! And we made the directionals work. Let's put the rest of the harness in.
Oh, I'm so awkward.
Right, so I used this universal throttle cable that I had lying around that I'm going to use to fish the, what do you want?
Look how dumb I am.
Yeah, you're a dummy. Yeah, it doesn't matter when the sticker's still all white. That I'm going to use to fish the harness through, but I'm not going to go, ow, that was gross. I'm not going to go all the way into the engine bay. I'm actually going to fish it through there because I'm going to get some bulkhead connectors and come to the firewall and plug them into that so that it'll be easier for me to remove the engine. But in order to do that, I got to figure out if I can even get it there first. So I'm going to hook up the harness to the other end of the cable and start whipping that Sally through there. What I learned with the thing is that it helps to give it a little bit of grease in here. I'll have to refresh this as I go, I think. I've got it up here, so now I should be able to just keep pulling it through until it comes out of that guy down there. Okay, all right. Okay. Okay. All right. Ow. I've still got quite a bit. Lift up the front here. Still got, you know, all of this left. And I'm not going to be using these, the factory fuse blocks. I'm going to replace those with blade fuse style ones. So I think all I can do for now is wait until I get the front sorted out, have all the fuse blocks and everything where I want them, because that'll ultimately dictate how much length of harness I have left to pull through in the back, so that I can figure out where I cut everything, because when I go to terminate this to use the bulkhead, whatever I cut off is going to be used to make the engine harness and the tail light harness as well, because what I'm going to do is one pass-through for the ignition hot wire, so it's like a pass-through stud that's going to go here, and then two 8-pin bulkhead connectors. One of them is going to be entirely engine wiring, and the other one is going to be entirely tail light wiring. And the reason for that is whenever I want to pull the engine, it'll be easier for me and cleaner to just unplug that one connector for the engine harness and undo that one pass-through stud, and just take everything out with the harness, so that I don't have to worry about rerunning those wires a second time when I go to put the engine in after taking it out. So it keeps all my wiring nice and clean, makes it a lot quicker. Now I've got to continue planning my wiring and everything, or what figure out what I need for fuse blocks and connectors and whatnot, and then order those up. And then once I have them, we can carry on with this project. All right, so it's another day. I've got my fuse blocks in and some terminal connectors. I've already got one of the fuse blocks in for the high beams and everything, fuse panel number 1. I'm going to start on fuse panel number 2 now. I've got to do, I'm replacing all of these little guys with some of these. So I've got to go through and terminate all these wires and hook these up, and then see what's left to go over to the fuse block that I'm going to replace with this guy. And then once I have all the lengths right, I can bolt this down and get the length ready for the rear for when my bulkhead connectors come in. So this is what I managed to get done. I've got the ignition switch kind of wired up, whether I use that switch or not. That's going to be at least, where the wires are going to end up going. I've got the headlight switch wired up for the most part. The main fuse block is all terminated out as well. I got a few other wires to run, but I need the speedo to be in place, so I got to get bolts for that. I've got the front fuse block placed and wired up as well for the high and low beams. And I've still got to do the wiper wires as well. So until I get bolts and stuff for the speedo, these things also showed up, which is what I'm going to use as bulkhead connectors to the engine. So tomorrow or sometime this week, I'm going to start cutting up the rear firewall and placing these so that I can terminate the wires, and then once the engine's in, I can make my own harness to go into these connectors and then just plug everything in. Is the plan. So hopefully sometime this week I'll be back on her. Okay, so we're gonna do, I'm gonna start placing my bulkhead connectors now, these guys. I have a feeling that my taillight wires are not gonna be long enough, but you never know. So I think, I'm definitely gonna have to hammer this back in a little. That's good enough for me. Okay, so, ow. So, plugs are gonna go in that side. So I'm just gonna place this kinda there and pretend that that's level. let me get my, oh no, I don't have to, because it's just going to be wires that go into this that don't reach anyway. So I'll have to figure out how to lengthen these guys, because they're not going to reach. Okay, so I'm going to drill the rest of my holes, or whatever, to get these in, and then start doing the one above that to get them both in place, and then maybe if we're lucky I'll get to start terminating these today. Alright, so I've got all my connectors done. Now I've got to do this guy. This is going to be my pass-through stud for power. Just like the harness up front, I did kind of take all the sheathing off of this to separate the wires out the way that I wanted to separate them out. So what I'm probably going to do, because this guy is power off the starter solenoid to the voltage regulator, I may remove this and put it to the other side. So the only thing that's going to be on this side is the main power wire going to the front, and then I'll have to run separate wires from the starter, like up the firewall to the pass-through stud. So I'm probably gonna place this down here-ish so it keeps it nice and low behind the motor. So I'm going to do this and cut that wire off and get this stud on, and then that'll probably be it for today. So, okay. So I'm thinking right there. Right there. So now we're gonna cut this off, because that's gonna go to the other side, and hopefully I'll have enough of that wire to reuse. That'll go on there. So I'll probably end up shortening this wire for cleanliness sake, unless I just zip it up here with everything else. Yeah, maybe I'll do that and just run it down the back. But that's the overall idea. I won't be able to do the engine harness until I have the engine done and in the car. But once I get my lights back from Denon, because he's painting them, then I can do that harness, and I guess I can do the starter harness as well. Oh, actually, maybe not, because I need the voltage regulator in place to do that. So, so that's at least get the stuff in the shot, pickles. So that's it. That's the end of this rushed episode, because it is Wednesday evening, and I have not started editing any of this footage to be done for Friday morning. So thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a like, leave a comment, share with your friends, and you know, I'll see you at the next one, whatever that is, because I really don't know what I'm going to have for next week.